Hello everyone, welcome to Timekeep. My name is Dan, and today I have another watch for you. So this is not the first time I've had a Captain Willard on the channel. The one I featured before actually sold a while back. This one, however, is going to my personal collection. I picked up this watch from a seller on Whatnot, and as you can see, it's not in the best condition. The crystal is obviously pretty scratched up, but for a watch this old, the case and bezel are actually not in bad shape. And on the plus side, the watch is actually running, which is good to see. And this Seiko is reference number 6105-8119. Based on the serial number, it was produced in May of 1974. The first thing I'm going to do is to remove the band, since it's not original to the watch and it's actually not period correct, so we'll be replacing it with something more authentic later. And now I can open up the caseback to see what we're dealing with on the inside. I think it's safe to assume this watch has not been opened before, because it took quite a bit of torque to get the caseback off, and also there are no service markings inside the caseback, which really confirms that this could be the first time service. And now I can remove the crown, which is original, and it's good to see because these watches have a special locking crown mechanism, and in many cases, the function either no longer works or the crown has been replaced altogether. And now we can remove the movement and finally get a good look at the dial, since we couldn't really see it through that scratched up crystal. And would you look at that? I honestly have not seen a dial on a Captain Willard in this great of a condition. I am incredibly happy with it. The hands do have a little bit of a loom rot, and I think it's not too bad, and I won't be replacing the loom on them, so I'll just leave them the way they are. And now I can remove the hands and the dial as well, but before I do that, I will align the hands to make sure they're all in one line, so it's easier for me to remove them, and I will cover them with a piece of plastic to protect the dial and the hands themselves. Now that the dial and hands are out of the way, I can start disassembling the movement. I will be speeding up the video throughout this part as it does take a bit of time and I want to keep the video from getting too long. Please don't worry, everything is included in the footage, so you can either pause or slow down the video if you want to take a closer look. For a real-time view of this process, you can also check my other Willard video on the channel, or any of the many other great videos on YouTube that show a full service on this watch. And while I'm doing that, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has already subscribed to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. These videos take a lot of time and effort to create, and your support truly means a lot to me. So if you're enjoying the content, please take a moment to subscribe, like the video, and leave me a comment. It really makes a huge difference. So I thank you for your support. And now I can turn my attention to the case. I will be removing the bezel, the crystal, and all the gaskets. I'll also give the case a good cleaning by hand before running it in my ultrasonic cleaner, just to make sure it's super clean. I'll also be replacing all the gaskets since they are all pretty much bad, and the only one I won't be replacing right now will be the crown gasket. It is a rather complicated job, and I'll likely get to it at a later date. Since this watch won't be submerged in water anyway, I think it should be fine for now. So with the movement all cleaned up, now I'm ready for assembly. The only part I'll be replacing inside the movement will be the mainspring. Since it is the watch's main source of power and likely hasn't been replaced since the 70s, a new one will get the watch to run much more efficiently and perform a lot better. Just like before, I'll be speeding up the assembly process a little bit, but every single step is included in the footage. Also, I'm making sure that everything is properly oiled as I go through the assembly. And here I'm installing the balance wheel. Of course, this watch was running before, so I fully expect it to come back to life. And there we go. It's always nice to see a mechanical watch come back to life. It's kind of like seeing a heartbeat for the first time. Pretty cool. And once I'm done with the main part of the movement, I can flip it over and assemble the dial side, which includes the keyless works, the calendar mechanism, and everything else. And now I can get the dial and hands assembled. First the dial spacer goes on, and then the dial itself. And before I install the hands, I'll just make sure the calendar is working properly by testing the quickset and the date rollover at midnight. I also need to make sure the watch is set exactly to midnight to ensure hands are installed correctly and the date change happens at the right time. And now I can turn my attention to the case and prepare it for the movement. I'll start by installing the chapter ring, and after that I'll install a new crystal gasket. And speaking of the crystal, this is a really nice upgrade since I'm using a sapphire crystal, which is much more scratch resistant than the original one. Now I can case the movement and install the crown, also install the movement spacer, and then assemble the automatic works. And before installing the case back, I will install a fresh gasket and of course make sure it's properly lubricated. I won't be torquing the case back down just yet, as I'll be opening the watch again in a few days to regulate the timing after the oils have had a chance to settle. And for the bezel, I will be installing a new gasket, and I also added a new loom pip, which is a little different than the original, but since this is going to be my personal watch, I don't mind the slightly updated look. Of course, I can always take it out and install something that looks more like the original loom. And finally, I can install the band and do one more check on the watch and call this project done. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments below, and of course don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.